Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Hokage. My ninjutsu effects are maxed out. Chapter 21. Looking at Shimura Danzo's angry expression, Sarutobi Hiruzen was also very innocent. After confirmation, the huge fire phoenix should indeed be genjutsu, but whether it is the hurricane when it flaps its wings or the loud noise when the phoenix chirps, it all seems so real. Sarutobi Hiruzen shuddered and finally reacted. Fire Phoenix is a real genjutsu, but underneath the genjutsu lurk other ninjutsu. But it was blocked by the huge body of the Fire Phoenix, making it difficult for people to spot it. But as long as the Fire Phoenix is fake, then this battle will still have a chance to continue. Let me expose him. Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted coldly and took a few steps in Luemu's direction. I have seen through your genjutsu. If you continue to persist in your obsession, don't blame me for being rude. Hiruzen Sarutobi threatened. Of course, Sarutobi Hiruzen had no intention of letting Luemu go. After all, someone had to take the blame for causing such a huge chaos, and Shimura Danzo also needed to be held accountable. Since you are unwilling to give up. Halfway through Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, the three fire phoenixes in front of him disappeared. The suppression from high-level beings and the high temperature from the fire phoenix disappeared. The corners of Sarutobi Hiruzen's mouth raised slightly. Although Luemu's genjutsu is very powerful, he is still a 12 or 13-year-old kid after all. A simple scare and a complete scare. Even if you remove genjutsu now, I will not let you go because of the impact you had on Konoha village just now. Sarutobi Hiruzen rushed towards Luemu quickly. The first goal now is to capture Luemu alive. That's enough genjutsu to fool anyone, and one genin can perform ninjutsu on such a large scale. These 2 points must be tortured out. After squeezing out all the value, throw Luemu to Shimura Danzo. But at this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen noticed that Luemu's eyes were tightly closed. It seemed that nothing around him could affect him. Genjutsu. Do you want to see the real genjutsu? Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned for a moment, and then found that Luemu's eyes were slowly opening. A pair of blood-red pupils, with 3 black commas spinning rapidly. Not good. Sarutobi Hiruzen subconsciously covered his eyes with his arms. The surrounding environment suddenly became noisy. Peach Blossom Spring. Dao Yuanming. In Taiyuan of the Jin dynasty, the people of Wuling made fishing their main occupation and traveled along streams, forgetting the distance of the road. Suddenly Sarutobi Hiruzen felt his arm being touched. Sarutobi Hiruzen subconsciously lowered his arms. At this moment Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned. The skin that was originally full of wrinkles has now regained its youthful luster. Delicate, soft and smooth. Even his hands are smaller than before. Lu Fei, what are you doing? Your dad is already here. Come to me quickly. Sarutobi Hiruzen sneered and ignored the middle-aged man in front of him. Genjutsu. Very powerful genjutsu. It can be said that genjutsu has no flaws at all. But Luemu is too young. The most important thing about genjutsu is to be substituted, but now his body, age and identity have changed. Even an ordinary genin can easily see the problem. Immediately, Sarutobi Hiruzen quickly formed seals with his hands, preparing to mobilize the chakra in his body to completely defeat genjutsu. But it was discovered when Sarutobi Hiruzen formed the seal. His hands were extremely stiff. The seal that could have been formed in 1 second now took more than 10 seconds to complete. Especially some of the handprints, which took a long time to complete but were not completed. And the most crucial point. That is, the chakra in the body cannot be mobilized at all. Rather than saying that chakra cannot be mobilized, it should be said that there is no trace of chakra in the body at all. Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted coldly. Although chakra cannot be mobilized, there are many ways to break genjutsu, such as pain. Then he reached out his hand and slapped himself hard on the face. Snapped. Severe pain kept stimulating the brain. But genjutsu still shows no signs of cracking. Then Sarutobi Hiruzen reached out his hand again and slapped his face repeatedly. Bang bang bang. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't count how many slaps he had received. He only felt a little dizzy, his cheeks hurt terribly, and there was a constant surge of heat in his nostrils. Lu Fei, what are you doing? Sarutobi Hiruzen felt his arm being grabbed, and the eyes of the middle-aged man in front of him were filled with fear. The originally noisy corridor became quiet. One by one, young heads poked out of the window, looking at themselves curiously. Lu Fei, don't be like this. Just know that you were wrong. I will tell your father properly later. Don't be too afraid. Sarutobi Hiruzen ignored the middle-aged man. Instead, his eyes looked at the scene in front of him with fear. Genjutsu is not cracked. The pain was so clear, even the touch of the middle-aged man's arm was so real. It seems like this is the real world. Sarutobi Hiruzen was dragged to the office doubting his life. The moment he entered the office, he saw a man standing angrily. Suddenly a warm feeling emanated from my heart. This feeling has gone beyond friendship and is the kind of family affection that only belongs to blood relationships. Then Sarutobi Hiruzen felt a sense of guilt again. Afraid of meeting this man, afraid of disappointing him. But Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly came back to his senses. Isn't this man the grown-up version of Lu Mu? For a moment, a sense of crisis emitted. Subconsciously I want to form a seal. Water style. Water dragon bullet jutsu. For a moment, Lu Mu's eyebrows furrowed even more and he walked over angrily. Watching cartoons all day long, I think your brain is damaged by watching them. As soon as Lu Mu finished speaking, he raised a big hand high. Just when it was about to fall, it stopped. Teacher Zhang, what happened to the injury on my son's face? Lu Mu's face was extremely angry. He stared at Teacher Zhang with his eyes, waiting for the other party's answer. Dad Lu Fei, don't worry, he did this all by himself. Dad, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the man in front of him in disbelief. I vaguely remember that Lu Mu almost destroyed the entire Konoha village by using Genjutsu. But why did he suddenly become his father? Genjutsu. What an awesome Genjutsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen carefully stepped back step by step, trying to escape from this place of right and wrong, and then find a way to break Genjutsu. Finally arriving at the gate, I opened the gate and wanted to run outside. But as soon as he opened the door, he bumped into a woman. Sarutobi Hiruzen rubbed his head in pain, but when he saw the other person's appearance clearly, his face suddenly became more joyful. Mao Yu Sunset. This is a member of Anbu. I remember that before entering this world, Mao Yu Xian also rushed forward and tried to subdue Lu Mu. Unexpectedly, he also entered Genjutsu. I am third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, take me out of here quickly. Sarutobi Hiruzen gave the order in a consistent tone. But Mao Yu Xian had no intention of moving at all, instead she frowned. You are talking nonsense again. I think you are a Chunabu. From today on, you are not allowed to watch Hokage ninjas anymore. After saying this, Uezuki Xian grabbed Sarutobi Hiruzen's ear and walked towards Lu Mu step by step. Teacher Zhang, what happened to my fare that you called us over in such a hurry? Sarutobi Hiruzen was dumbfounded. Mao Yu Xian became her mother, and Lu Mu became her father. For a moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen's mind was in a mess. He didn't listen to Teacher Zhang's reprimand at all. About an hour later, Lu Mu and Uezuki Xian took Sarutobi Hiruzen back to their home. Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked a lot along the way. Instead of busy ninjas jumping on the rooftops, there are iron boxes driving everywhere on the road. And that building was beyond Sarutobi Hiruzen's knowledge. Hundreds of meters. You can barely see the top of the building if you raise your head. Is this still a ninja world? Even Genjutsu cannot be fabricated out of thin air and needs reference. It will definitely be too much beyond cognition. But what Sarutobi Hiruzen saw now could be regarded as another civilization entirely. After returning home, Sarutobi Hiruzen instinctively returned to his room. Sarutobi Hiruzen was certain that this was his first time in this room, but he felt an indescribable sense of familiarity. Every bump between tables and chairs seems to have memories. Especially the row of Hokage ninjas on the bookshelf are deeply engraved in my bones, like a part of my body. There happened to be a Hokage ninja book on the bed. Sarutobi Hiruzen picked it up subconsciously. This is the latest volume of Hokage Ninja, Bloody Night. The fireball like the sun, the infinitely divided transparent water snake, and the three huge phoenixes. On the last page, it was himself and Mao Yu Xian who rushed towards Lu Mu. Sarutobi Hiruzen was confused for a moment. It's hard to tell which one is the real world and which one is fictional. Am I really Lu Fei, not Hiruzen Sarutobi? Am I really an ordinary student, not the third Hokage? Is the ninja world really just a dream of mine? Sarutobi Hiruzen quickly shook his head. His eyes became determined. Then he quickly opened the window and ran out. Go outside and see the world. Uezuki Shion heard the noise and rushed into Hiruzen Sarutobi's room, and found Hiruzen Sarutobi running out with a disappointed expression on his face. Then he walked into Lu Emu's arms aggrievedly. Husband, how about we raise another one? Mao Shion said weakly, but there was a hint of fire in her eyes. Okay, then we'll get another one. Thump. Sarutobi Hiruzen fell directly to the ground, breathing heavily. Seeing the familiar Konoha village, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally breathed a sigh of relief. Finally home. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked around and saw everyone's confused expressions, and Jonin couldn't help but laugh at himself. Did it turn out that only a moment passed? You must know that you have lived 3 lives. Every second of 3 lives and 3 worlds is so clear, as if it really existed. From the joy of parents at birth, the rebellion in middle school, the exhaustion at work, to the reluctance at death. Sarutobi Hiruzen experienced this kind of reincarnation 3 times. And these 3 lives actually happened in just an instant. So how terrifying is the mind control of a man who uses this genjutsu? But now Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't bring up a trace of murderous intent towards Lu Mu. In each of these 3 lives, Lu Mu was his father. Even in his last life, in order to find the mangoes he wanted to eat for the dying Lu Mu, he walked throughout the city. Now that I can see Lu Mu, there is no anger, but a little joy, and I can't help but want to call him Dad. Finally, Sarutobi Hiruzen closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. The time span of 3 lives is too long. And it still flashed through Sarutobi Hiruzen's mind for a moment. Such a huge amount of memory brings the mind to the edge of collapse. So I only held on for a few seconds and then fell to the ground unconscious. Shion, how are you? Yu Gale rushed over anxiously, trying to help Wu Shion up. But when he just touched Mao Shion, he was suddenly pushed away. Moonlight Blast was dumbfounded. Although he and Uoyuki Shion were not boyfriend and girlfriend at this time, they had a good impression of each other. And they are partners who live and die together. But now, just trying to help her up was met with strong resistance. Shion, what's wrong with you? Yu Gale asked again. But Mao Shion didn't pay attention at all, and looked at the man not far away with her eyes infatuatedly. There was even a happy expression on his face. Like Sarutobi Hiruzen, Azuki Yugon also experienced 3 lives. But unlike Sarutobi Hiruzen became Lu Emu's son, and Azuki Shion became Lu Emu's wife. From acquaintance to mutual understanding, from poverty to happiness. Those days of mutual support made Lu Mu become a part of Mao Shion's life. At this time, Mao Shion wanted to touch Lu Emu's face again and call her husband again. But the body has reached its limit. Although the body is still full of strength, the mind is almost reaching its limit. He just wanted to get close to Lu Mu out of instinct. Finally Mao Shion fell down with tears of happiness. For a moment, no one dared to take a step forward, and Shimura Danzo also frowned deeply. In an instant the 2 ninjas fell to the ground. One is a battle-hardened Anbu member who has experienced any emergencies and is definitely an elite among ninjas. The other one is 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although he is old, his body is gradually overdrawn and weak. But as the Kage of Konoha village, his strength has reached the top level in the ninja world. These are 2 ninjas. When facing Lu Mu, he didn't even hold on to his face. No one even knew what methods Lu Mu had used. Lu Mu also seemed a little surprised at this time. But by using Sharingan's own genjutsu, he was able to instantly kill a shadow-level being. Although I don't know what happened. But looking at the reaction of the 2 people, it feels a bit like Tsukuyomi. The most important thing is that this genjutsu will not hurt your eyes like Tsukuyomi. Now Lu Mu has a stable group in his heart. No ninja dared to take a step forward, and even where Lu Mu glanced, everyone lowered their heads. Let me go, senior, what happened just now? Why are there so many people? Scorpio walked out with a smile on his face. Hong Yun's black coat was now stained with blood. Xie didn't care about this and ran straight to Lu Emu's side. This is the Red Sand Scorpion. Shimura Danzo gasped. Scorpion is the existence that can single-kill the 3rd generation Kage, and he has mastered the puppet technique to the point of perfection. Now Konoha village can resist Scorpion's ninjas, only himself and third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. But now he was seriously injured, and Sarutobi Hiruzen fell into a coma again. In other words, no one can stop Scorpion in Konoha now. The most important thing is that there is a terrifying existence like Lumyu beside Chie. Konoha is afraid it will fall. For a moment Shimura Danzo became desperate. If there was no internal fighting and those few people were still there, how could Konoha village be so passive? Unfortunately, it's too late to regret. When the Fire Nation was first established, it was definitely the strongest existence on the ninja continent. There is the ninja god Senju Hashirama. There is Uchiha Madara, the strongest of the Uchiha clan. There is Senju Tobirama, who has forbidden techniques except water style. If Senju Hashirama hadn't prayed for peace, the Fire Nation would have been the only one left in the ninja world. After experiencing several ninja wars, the Land of Fire was severely damaged, but it still had a group of powerful ninjas. For example, Konoha White Fang Hatake Sakumo, Sanin Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Tsunade. Instant Shisui. 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. Under the rounds of conspiracies and machinations, Konoha's emerging strength was on the verge of death. Now there are only a few people in Konoha village who can support the scene. It directly caused a gap in the strength of the old and new ninjas. So much so that the appearance of a Scorpion left Shimura Danzo at a loss. "Senior, these people are so noisy, how about I help you clean them up?" Chie said with an evil smile. The peripheral vision of his eyes swept over everyone. Suddenly the hair on everyone's bodies stood up. Lumyu didn't want to kill anyone. The official plot of Hokage Ninja has not yet begun. If these people die, the next generation will never get up. The butterfly effect caused is not something anyone can tolerate. How's it going inside? Everything is solved. That boy Itachi is educating his younger brother, so it's probably almost done. Xie Feng said calmly. It seems that what was killed just now was not a human being, but some chickens, ducks, fish and geese. At this moment, a figure slowly walked out from the Uchiha family. There was no emotion on his cold face. It seems to have died long ago, leaving only a body that keeps walking. But when Uchiha Itachi saw the unconscious Sarutobi Hiruzen and the seriously injured Shimura Danzo, he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. There was a rare expression of surprise on his cold face. A ninja with only Genin chakra. He actually defeated the strongest third Hokage of Konoha village, Sarutobi Hiruzen. By the way, he also defeated the leader of the Roots, Shimura Danzo. Is this still Genin? And the mission at the beginning is not just to prevent people from coming in, it doesn't ask you to challenge the entire Konoha village. Also, if you have such strength, why did you miss Uchiha Sasuke? However, Lu Emu's strength left Uchiha Itachi in awe. Then a pair of blood-red eyes looked at Lumyu again. Genin. Still Genin's chakra amount. No matter how many times he observes it, the chakra content in Lu Emu's body is still only Genin's standard. Itachi, is my mission completed? Uchiha Itachi was stunned for a moment, then recovered and nodded immediately. Ah, well, the mission is completed. Ding dong. The mission is completed. Get the intermediate ninjutsu gift pack. Then the mission will be rewarded with SSS completion level, and you will get the reward, Chunin quality. Closing square bracket. Intermediate ninjutsu gift pack successfully opened. Get ninjutsu. Water style. Water Dragon Bullet Jutsu. Fire Style. Fire Dragon Jutsu. Multiple Shadow Clone Jutsu. Chidori. Lumyu was immediately overjoyed. Unexpectedly, the task completion level reached SSS, and even reached Chunin quality. As a result, his actual combat capabilities have been greatly improved. Combined with the 3 Magatama Sharingan, it can also fight against ordinary Chunin. Even Jonin can give it a try. The ones who gained the most were actually those ninjutsu. Beginner ninjutsu is really too basic. There aren't many that can really be used to fight. Basically just functional ninjutsu. But the intermediate ninjutsu is different. Most of them are fighting type ninjutsu. Combined with special effects, the effect of ninjutsu can be increased several times. This gave him a little more confidence in future battles. Lumyu didn't know that Uchiha Itachi was looking at him dumbfounded at this time. Uchiha Itachi is observing Lumyu with Sharingan. The amount of chakra that was originally only Genin's increased to Chunin's without any warning. Such an improvement goes against common sense. Then Lu Mu's ability to control chakra may reach an incredible level. As long as Lu Mu is willing, he can control the amount of his chakra at any level. And it suddenly improved when I observed it. It was definitely a demonstration. It's a warning to yourself that you've crossed the line. For a moment, Uchiha Itachi's back was soaked with sweat. I didn't expect that there would be such a master in the Akatsuki organization. Sharingan must not be used to explore Lu Mu's strength in the future. Otherwise you will definitely die. Now that the mission is completed, let's go. Lu Mu said happily. Then he immediately performed high-speed physical skills. Suddenly the space around Lu Mu became distorted. Then the entire space collapsed. The collapsed space became pitch black, but within this darkness, there were countless light spots. Behind every light spot, there are various scenery. It seems to be connected to countless time and space. Then Lu Mu walked in. After completely entering, the collapsed space quickly recovered. It seemed as if nothing happened just now. Everyone present looked at this scene dumbfounded, but Xie burst into laughter. See, this is Senior Lu. Come on, Itachi. This is no place for you to stay. Uchiha Itachi nodded coldly, and then left quickly with Sha. The three people left, and all the Konoha ninjas breathed a sigh of relief, except Shimura Danzo who had a straight face. Quickly, draw the face of that kid just now. Danzo-sama, are you going to issue a wanted order? Shimura Danzo looked at the other person as if he were a fool. After the drawing is completed, each of the Konoha ninjas will draw one. After discovering that kid, no matter what the task is, immediately terminate it and turn around and run away. Lu Mu walked hard, and when he saw the Rain Country Ninja Village, he couldn't help but burst into tears. The distance between Konoha Village and the country of Rain can be reached in just one day if you go all out. But Lu Mu was lost. After walking for nearly a week, we finally reached the land of Rain. After coming out of Konoha Village last time, he lost contact with Xie. Lu Mu, who was unfamiliar with the ninja world, could only wander around. Fortunately, Lu Mu's strength has now reached the level of Chunin. I won't starve myself to death. However, when hunting, all prey are frightened to death without exception. And when using ninjutsu to make a fire, it scared the people around him. It was also based on this that it attracted people from the surrounding area and pointed out the route to the land of Rain. Otherwise, you may not be able to find the way. Lu Mu returned to his house according to his memory. The house is very large, and it was specially chosen by Conan for Lu Mu. It is located near the office building of the Kingdom of Rain. It's a pity that Lu Mu only stayed for one night and then went on a mission. Now finally back home again. Lu Mu just wanted to lie down on his comfortable bed and have a good sleep. Lu Mu took out the key and prepared the gate of opening. But the door was not locked at all and opened with a slight push. Lu Mu frowned. No matter what, this is my home after coming to the ninja world. Unexpectedly, there was a thief. Lu Mu could still hear the footsteps inside, and the sounds were getting closer and closer. Lu Mu snorted coldly. I want to see who stole the thing and stole it from me. The door was pushed open by Lu Mu. As soon as I opened it, I heard a crashing sound, followed by a woman's wailing sound, and finally the sound of my butt hitting the ground. Conan. Lu Mu was a little surprised. He didn't expect that this female thief turned out to be Conan. And how come Conan has the key to his own house? Conan touched his head with one hand and rubbed his butt with the other, his face full of grievances. But when he saw clearly that it was Lu Mu in front of him, an expression of surprise suddenly appeared on his face. The pain from the previous bumps was immediately forgotten. Senior Lu, you are finally back. Seeing Conan's happy face, Lu Mu couldn't help but feel happy. After all, it feels like there is someone waiting for you to go home. Really good. But Lu Mu calmed down immediately. Why do you have the key to my house? I arranged this house for you. Why do you think I have the key? And you are my master. If I don't have the key, how can I take care of you? Conan said matter-of-factly. Lu Mu couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Nagato's face might turn green. Conan, a close friend, became his slave. You must not want to name yourself all the time. Lu Mu didn't want to die so early. Hand over the keys. Conan tried to argue, but when he saw Lu Emu's serious expression, he could only hand over the key with Yu Wen aggrievedly. He was making calculations in his mind. Which window will you come in from next time? Lu Mu entered the room and sat down, while Conan followed obediently. The atmosphere in the room suddenly became awkward. Lu Mu glanced at Conan and finally understood what he said. As long as you are not embarrassed, others will be embarrassed. Then he hurriedly spoke to break the deadlock. Aren't you curious where I have been these days? Conan shook his head slightly. Master must be busy everywhere for the future of the ninja world. After all, there are too many things that need to be done in this ninja world that is riddled with holes. Unexpectedly, I was simply lost. However, Lu Mu wanted to lose face and could not say this. I can only bite the bullet and continue. Yes, the ninja world is full of holes, especially the small countries, which are in mourning. It's really sad to see them, Lu Mu said with a sad expression on his face. Lu Mu couldn't wait to give him a thumbs up for his acting skills. At this time, Conan's eyes lit up and he showed an expression of sudden realization. I understand, Master. What do you understand? Lu Mu looked confused. You were just pretending, how could you understand it? I don't even understand it myself. Oh, what did you understand? Hearing Lu Mu's question, Conan immediately became energetic. When major countries go to war, the first to be injured are the small countries. Because it is absolutely impossible for the 5 major countries to place the main battlefield on their own soil. So the Master's intention is to unite various small countries to form an alliance and form a combat force that cannot be underestimated. In this way, the battlefield will be brought back to the territory of the 5 major countries. Then if they start a war, they will have to consider more things or even give up the war. Looking at Conan talking in high spirits, Lu Mu couldn't help but become suspicious. Did I really mean what I just said? Master, are my analysis correct? That's roughly it, but the details are a little off. It's more than right. If Conan takes the exam, he will definitely get full marks in reading comprehension. I understand much more than the original author. Why does Senior Lu think like this? A gleam of light instantly lit up in Nagato Wushin's eyes. It has to be said that Lu Mu's idea is very feasible. It is even more thorough than the plan drawn up by the Akatsuki organization at the beginning. The only way to stop violence is violence. In the ninja world, whoever has the biggest fist has to listen to whoever has it. If you don't have enough strength, you can only be bullied. Even the battle has nothing to do with you, just because the war is launched between the 2 countries on the land of your country. If you want to compete, you can only improve your own strength. The best way is to unite all small countries. I never understood why Senior Lu joined our Akatsuki organization before, but now I completely understand. Ah, what's the reason? Conan asked curiously. Senior Lu wanted to unite various small countries to implement the plan from the beginning. But he never found a suitable target. But your appearance made Senior Lu see the hope of the plan, so he joined without hesitation. Nagato as he spoke, a proud expression appeared on his face. Conan also looked like he was suddenly enlightened. Lu Mu's figure became even more majestic in Conan's mind. After all, anyone who thinks about the ninja world is worthy of respect. But what are the specifics? Nagato shook his head in disappointment. Conan, how come you can't turn the corner when the critical moment comes? For a moment, Conan had a wronged expression on his face. I have thought very hard about it. But Lu Mu's thoughts were too detached, and he was completely unable to understand his profound intentions. Actually, you were wrong from the beginning. Senior Lu's idea was to establish the 6th largest country. The 6th largest country. Conan shuddered. This idea is too bold. When the 5 major kingdoms were first established, they took away the most fertile, resource-rich and habitable land in the ninja world. The remaining land was divided among various small countries. Although the land area is large enough. However, resources are scarce, the distribution is relatively scattered, and it is too narrow and long. It is not easy to establish the 6th largest country. Have you noticed it too? Nagato said with a mysterious smile. Yeah, Conan nodded slightly, with an anxious expression on his face. If they just form an alliance, the 5 major countries may turn a blind eye. But if they want to form a 6th major country and the interests of the 5 major countries are harmed, they will never sit idly by. Moreover, our terrain is too narrow and long, and there is no time. Defense, as long as we dare to establish it, the 5 major countries will definitely join forces to attack. Yes, this is what Senior Lu deserves respect for. Although it is very difficult, this is the only way for all small countries to avoid war. And why do you think Senior Lu must go to Konoha village this time? Nagato smiled and said the question was thrown back. Conan fell into deep thought for a moment. After about a few minutes, Conan's eyes suddenly lit up, and then an excited expression appeared on his face. Is it a shock? Yes, it's a shock. Nagato nodded with satisfaction. Although the overall strength of Konoha village is declining now, its status has always been very transcendent because of the existence of the god of ninja. This should be the reason why Senior Lu chose to go to Konoha village, to knock down the mountain Junhu. For a moment Conan became even more excited. The Akatsuki organization has been thinking of ways to do things for the ninja world, but has never known how to get started. But Lu Mu had already found his direction. And it is still being implemented in obscurity. Originally, Conan only admired Lu Mu's strength, but at this moment, he completely admired Lu Mu's actions. So what can we do to help Master? Knowing Lu Mu's misfortune, Conan felt heartbroken for a while. Saving the ninja world was difficult, but Lu Mu shouldered it all by himself. Conan really wanted to do something for Lu Mu and share some of his burden. Especially when I met Lu Mu today. Seeing the tired look on his face, I didn't think much about it at the time. But now that I think about it carefully, my heart aches. What on earth did such a powerful person do to make himself exhausted like this? Conan, your mission is very important, that is to take good care of Senior Lu. As long as you take good care of Senior Lu, you have made the greatest contribution. Good. Conan nodded seriously. Fortunately, I secretly opened a window, otherwise I might not be able to get in at night. Not to mention taking care of it. But Senior Lu alone cannot do it. We must do something to share the burden on Senior Lu's shoulders. Nagato hesitated for a long time, and then he became serious. Conan, call the members of the Akatsuki organization over and start the first Akatsuki organization meeting to formulate the future direction of the Akatsuki organization. In a secret room in the Land of Rain, 5 ninjas were sitting. And every ninja is wearing a black-red cloud coat. Take a closer look. The forehead protectors on these 5 ninjas are almost all the same. But there is a striking similarity. On each person's forehead protector, the marks marking the ninja village were all marked with a groove. If anyone saw these 5 ninjas, they would definitely be frightened. Because these 5 people are all famous existences without exception. They are all people whose names are on the S-Class wanted poster. Loquat Juzang, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Land of Water. He was the ninja who survived before opening the 8 Gates dungeon Mad Dai, especially the decapitating sword in his hand, which is the nightmare of many people. Kakuzu, a powerful presence in Longyan village. According to legend, a monster can survive even if its heart is stabbed. He is the one who survived the battle with the god of ninja. Orochimaru, one of Konoha's Sannin, one of the top fighting forces in Konoha village, once fought against the man known as a demigod, Sancho Hanzo, and was even praised by him. Scorpion, known as the Red Sand Scorpion, his ability to manipulate puppets is unmatched. He even single-handedly killed the 3rd generation Kazekage from the Kingdom of Wind. Uchiha Itachi, descendants of Uchiha Madara possess a powerful bloodline Sharingan, and any genjutsu is an illusion in their eyes. And he also massacred the entire Uchiha clan. Everyone is a being that can be feared by the 5 major countries. But now they were sitting together. Shao, who is that Senior Lu? How can he be so favored by you? Orochimaru said with a smile. The sound was like having smoked cigarettes for decades, and the stretch in the throat made people very uncomfortable. Scorpio is the oldest member of the Akatsuki organization. Moreover, he was the one who had the most contact with Lu Mu, with a face full of arrogance. Now I heard Orochimaru asking about Lu Mu. He seemed even more proud. Senior Lu is a godlike being. He can destroy a ninja village with just a few moves. He may even be an immortal. Hearing Xie say this, boos suddenly erupted in the room. After all, as long as you have a clear mind, you will never believe in such an almost fantasy thing as an immortal. Since Senior Lu is so powerful, why hasn't the ninja world heard any rumors about him? What is his record? Orochimaru smiled coldly. Have. This time the answer was not from Scorpio, but from Uchiha Itachi, who had been sitting silently. Just a few days ago, Senior Lu defeated 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, injured Shimura Danzo, and then left Konoha in a big way. Everyone was silent for a while. After several days of contact, Uchiha Itachi didn't talk much, but he was still very reliable in everyone's minds. Plus the recent news from Konoha village. Then what Uchiha Itachi said is almost the same. And the most important thing is that Lu Mu defeated Hokage in Konoha village and escaped unscathed. Most of the people here have the strength to fight against the shadow level. But defeat the 3rd Hokage on the Leaf Village's turf. I'm afraid no one here has this ability. Even Orochimaru, who had always been smiling, became serious at this time. No wonder I received news from Shimura Danzo. Tell yourself never to offend Lu Mu. At this moment, the door to the room opened, and 2 figures walked in slowly. It was Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki organization, and Conan. The room fell silent for a moment. No matter what, the leader's face must be given. And everyone is also very curious. Pain called everyone over anxiously to find out what he wanted to do. I have good news for you, Senior Lu is back. Everyone couldn't help but lift their spirits. Shie and Uchiha Itachi suddenly became energetic out of respect for Lu Mu. The remaining Loquat Juzo, Orochimaru, and Kakuzu have been hearing about the legend of Lu Mu since they first joined the Akatsuki organization, and they have long wanted to see the Senior Lu mentioned by Scorpion. Where is Lu Senpai? Orochimaru said cautiously. After all, even Orochimaru must be careful to face the men who can defeat 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo. Don't be anxious, everyone. You will be able to meet Senior Lu sooner or later, and this time we are fighting for Senior Lu's goal and Xiao's goal. Everyone frowned for a moment. It's almost like a joke to fight for a goal that you have never met anyone before. They are all rebellious ninjas from the same village, and no one will spoil the other. Except for the fanatical fans, of course. What is Senior Lu's goal? Pain smiled slightly, then took the scroll from Conan's hand, and then threw it hard. Suddenly a map of the ninja world appeared in front of everyone. Senior Lu's goal is to establish the 6th largest country. After hearing Pain's words, everyone couldn't help laughing. The territory of the ninja continent has been completely fixed. It is simply a fantasy to want to establish the 6th largest country. In an instant, everyone was disappointed with the Akatsuki organization. Everyone showed signs of wanting to leave. I know it's hard for you to accept, but let me explain first. Then Pain patiently explained. Okay, I agree. Kakuzu was the first to nod in agreement. After all, Kakuzu comes from Longyan village, a small country similar to the Rain country. Every time there is a war between big powers, Longyan village will immediately become the main battlefield and become a hell on earth. So Kakuzu is the person who can understand Pain best. After hearing this plan, I want to meet this Senior Lu even more. Kakuzu looked forward to it. If it really succeeds, Lu Mu will definitely become a saint-like existence to various small countries. I'm also willing to give it a try. Loquat Juzang said with a smile. Loquat Shizang comes from the land of water. Although the Kingdom of Water has never experienced the pain of a small country. But the Kingdom of Water is the place where civil strife is most serious. Almost every moment, ninjas died due to civil strife. Loquat Juzo fled the Kingdom of Water because he couldn't stand the oppression. I also yearn for peace very much. Count me in, Uchiha Itachi said as he stood up. The person present who longs for peace the most is Uchiha Itachi. For the sake of peace, the entire family was slaughtered. This determination is unmatched by anyone. If peace can be restored by doing so, Uchiha Itachi will definitely shed the last drop of his blood for the Akatsuki organization. Seeing that everyone agreed, Orochimaru could only nod in agreement. Orochimaru was also frightened by the ambitions of the Akatsuki organization. If he hadn't been arranged by Shimura Danzo, he might really have joined this crazy idea. Now, Orochimaru just wants to pass the information back as soon as possible. Let Konoha village prepare in advance. Lu Mu fell asleep and woke up naturally. I have never slept so comfortably as this time. I really love this kind of life now. Lu Mu also found it difficult to understand those seniors who had traveled through time. Why do you have to stir up hatred and be hunted everywhere? Why do you have to achieve kingship and hegemony and worry about it day and night? Doesn't it smell good lying down? But when Lu Mu was sleeping, he always felt like a pair of eyes were staring at him. Master, you're awake. Lu Mu, who was still a little groggy at first, suddenly woke up. He turned around and saw Conan, who had put on the skin of a maid, blinking at him. How did you get in? Lu Mu said and quickly rolled up the quilt. After all, as a man, waking up in the morning is always a bit inconvenient. As a ninja, isn't it easy to enter a room? Conan laughed. Lu Mu's mouth twitched. Suddenly I felt that what Conan said made sense, and I didn't know how to refute it for a while. Anyway, get out of here first. As a man, morning is always full of vitality, but now Conan has put on a new skin. Something is definitely going to happen. Conan couldn't help but smile when he saw Lu Mu's nervous and shy look. If it weren't for the fear of not passing the trial, I wouldn't have left today. Watching Conan leave, Lu Mu finally breathed a sigh of relief. However, he was afraid that Conan would retaliate, so Lu Mu quickly put on his clothes. When the last button was buttoned, Lu Mu completely put it down and turned on. If Nagato saw this scene, he would not be able to wash away it even if he jumped into the Yellow River. When the time comes to use the bag of rice technique, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold it for even a second. So stay away from Conan in the future. Lu Mu slowly opened the door, and as soon as he opened it, he saw Pain standing outside the door with a straight face. Suddenly Lu Mu's heart skipped a beat. Hit the porcelain. A mortal jump. After all, I am still too young. I never thought that such a routine would exist in the ninja world. It doesn't cost you money, it costs your life. Pain was stunned for a moment, and then suddenly realized. What I have been considering before is the general direction of the entire Akatsuki organization. But Pain always felt like something was missing. Now Lu Mu understands it instantly. Short of money. Although the current money is enough to operate the Kingdom of Rain, it is far from enough to support the operation of the 6th largest country. Fortunately, Lu Mu gave me another way to make money. Deadly. Help the 5 major countries handle some shady tasks, so that you can not only get a lot of money, but also seize the handle of the 5 major countries. Definitely an excellent strategy to kill more birds with one stone. Immediately, Pain was in awe of Lu Mu. With one simple sentence, the biggest problem was solved instantly. I knew there were gaps between people, but I didn't expect the gaps to be so big. Thank you, Senior Lu, for teaching me. I understand. Lu Mu couldn't think straight. Isn't it a fairy dance? Careless. And what exactly do you understand? You all understand it, it makes me look stupid. Actually, I have something to trouble Senior Lu this time. Lu Mu became serious. Are we finally getting to the point? But since he became a member of the Akatsuki organization, he naturally had to obey Pain's arrangements. Tell me, what's going on? Now the Akatsuki organization is in urgent need of talents. I heard that there is a demolition genius in the Earth Kingdom. I hope that Senior Lu can go over and meet him. It is best to introduce him to the Akatsuki organization. I'll go. Deidara. Hearing Lu Mu's answer, Pain showed a smile on his face. It's great that Senior Lu is willing to go there. If you go with Conan, you can save a lot of time on the road. Lu Mu cried. This, I go, is not the same as the, I go, you understand. The land of Earth. One of the 5 major countries. The mountains in the entire land are continuous, and there are high and low mountains as far as the eye can see. Has rich mineral resources. The continuous mountains have also become a natural barrier for the Kingdom of Earth, making it difficult for other countries to invade. At this time, Lu Mu was in the air, feeling the double baptism of cold wind and warmth. After leaving the country of rain, without Pain around, Lu Mu became much bolder. Although I am not Lu Shahui. But you will never miss the warmth that you should enjoy. Master, Iwagakure village is not far ahead. You have to walk the next road by yourself. Lu Mu nodded slightly. Although there are still some unfinished ideas, you should be careful in the land of Earth. After all, the Kingdom of Earth has an air force. Using the art of light and heavy rocks, you can continuously reduce your weight and then let yourself fly. Although the overall strength of the Kingdom of Earth is not good. But there are strong men left over from the age of the ninja god. 2 days equal to Onoki. The technique of peeling off the original world can kill everything in an instant. Therefore, until the Akatsuki organization is fully developed, the Earth country must not be provoked. The two of them landed carefully in a secret corner. Although it seems that the surrounding area is deserted, it has actually reached the sphere of influence of Iwagakure village. Anbu's shadow will appear around him at any time. So definitely be extremely careful. What Lu Mu needs to do now is to sneak into Yenian village and find the location of Pai Da Star Didera. Compared to a small country that is completely closed, the 5 major countries are much more friendly. As long as you have a reasonable identity and a reasonable reason, you can walk in unimpeded. Senior Lu, how about we pretend to be a couple, so we can definitely sneak in? Conan's eyes lit up, waiting expectantly for Lu Mu's answer. Lu Mu twitched the corner of his mouth, with helplessness written all over his face. Although Conan is now in his early 20s, he is in his youth and there is no trace of his years. But I am only 12 years old. It's already been around, and as long as the opponent is not stupid, he will definitely be able to see the problem. And Lu Mu had a hunch that Conan might have bad intentions. No way, how about we pretend to be mother and son? This is not quite right, Conan. It always feels like Conan is digging a hole for himself. Just siblings, Conan said disappointedly. There was even a pleading expression in his eyes. Lu Mu's mouth twitched and he might as well just ignore it. After more than half an hour of trekking through mountains and rivers, the two finally arrived at the gate of Yenian village. Iwagakure village is worthy of being one of the 5 great countries. There are people coming in and out of the gate, which is far beyond what the Kingdom of Rain can compare to. And the ninja guarding the gate of Earth Kingdom. He was sitting lazily, just symbolically checking the people coming in and out. Lu Mu sneered. No wonder the Kingdom of Earth is getting weaker and weaker, and in the end it has to rely on the 2-day flat Onoki to support the situation. The quality of ninjas is simply incomparable to that of other countries. Then Lu Mu and Conan used the transformation technique to change their appearance. Lu Mu was very scared at first. If heaven-defying special effects appear, the entire Iwagakure village will be discovered. Fortunately, this situation did not occur. Lu Mu walked in as if nothing had happened, but Conan suddenly grabbed Lu Mu's arm. Dear brother, please don't run around. Lu Mu almost vomited out the old blood. The traces of this performance are so obvious and exaggerated that anyone with a discerning eye can see through it immediately. And how can siblings be so close? And it's too tight. At this time, the ninja who was sitting lazily stood up and walked straight towards Lu Mu. He even reached out to the ninja bag with one hand. For a moment, Lu Mu's heart beat rapidly. At this moment, Lu Mu noticed an 8 or 9-year-old girl not far away walking arrogantly towards Yenian village. People around her greeted her enthusiastically. Lu Mu's eyes lit up. He immediately pushed Conan away, ran over quickly, and held the girl with one hand. Great to finally catch up with you. The girl turned her head in confusion, her innocent eyes staring up and down at Lu Mu. Do we know each other? Have you forgotten me? We played together all the time when we were kids. Lu Mu said, with a disappointed expression on his face. The little girl seemed a little anxious for a while. After all, if you break a good friend's heart, you will feel a little guilty. It's just that there were so many people I played with when I was a kid that I didn't recall it directly. Are you Nishino-kun? The little girl asked tentatively. Suddenly Lu Mu's face became even more ugly. This made the little girl who was already a little embarrassed feel even more guilty. By the way, you must be Hayata-kun. It must be. The little girl said as she clapped her hands excitedly. When Lu Mu saw that it was almost done, a smile appeared on his face. That's great, it turns out you still remember me. Of course, we are good friends. Seeing that Lu Mu and the little girl seemed to know each other, the ninja completely lowered his guard and sat back in his chair. Lu Mu breathed a sigh of relief, finally getting through. At this moment, a burly man ran over. Who are you talking to, Kuretsuchi? Akazuchi, you must not have imagined that Hayata-kun is back. Wait, does this little girl have black soil on her legs? Can you encounter this? The crisis has been resolved, but not completely. Although Kuretsuchi got into Iwagakure village with the help of Kuretsuchi, as Onoki's granddaughter, Kuretsuchi is always protected by Anbu. In other words, there are at least several Anbu staring at him now. If you do anything beyond your reach, Anbu will appear in the next second, holding a kunai to your chin. But there was one benefit to being around Kuretsuchi. Kuretsuchi and Deidara's relationship as senior brothers and sisters definitely knew Deidara's position. It can save a lot of searching time. Why didn't Kuretsuchi see Xiaodi? Where did he go? Hearing the word, Xiaodi, Kuretsuchi became embarrassed. He hesitated for a long time before speaking. Deidara was imprisoned because of explosion style. The main ninjutsu of Iwagakure village still prefers the earth style, and Deidara is in a state of madness for the explosion style of detonating clay. But in Iwagakure village, explosion style is an absolutely forbidden technique. Once discovered, it will definitely be dealt with severely. Now Deidara is just being imprisoned and cannot escape Onoki's preference for him. Well, then Deidara and I will have no chance of meeting each other. Lu Mu said with a disappointed expression on his face. Seeing Lu Mu's disappointed look, Haidu felt a trace of unbearability in his heart. After thinking for a long time, he puffed up his chest and patted it hard a few times. I just want to see Deidara, I'll take care of it. Really, Kuretsuchi is really awesome. The corners of Lu Mu's mouth raised slightly. He didn't expect Haidu to be so simple, and he was fooled in just a few words. Then the next thing to do is how to take Deidara out of Iwagakure village. Of course, I have something even better, Haidu said, directly taking Lu Mu's hand as he was about to leave. Lu Mu wanted to struggle away. But Lu Mu had already felt several lines of sight coming from the dark, and if he reacted too violently, he might be jumped out directly. Lu Mu finally understood that leg length really affects running. Although Kuretsuchi is 2 years younger than him, he can even run a little faster than himself. With such long legs, it would be a shame not to run. Just as the two of them were running quickly, a big man suddenly appeared in front of them. Judging from the appearance, it looks very similar to Kuretsuchi. Kuretsuchi, why are you running so fast? Dad. Dad. Lu Mu suddenly became alert. Unexpectedly, he met Kuretsuchi's father, Wangtu. It can be said that he is a high-level person in Iwagakure village. Who is this person? Your friend. It's Hayata-kun. Hayata-kun is back. After hearing this, Wangtu had a surprised expression on his face, and then he ran to Lu Mu excitedly. All I could see was Lu Mu's originally blurry face. As Lois's memory gradually became clearer, Lu Mu's face turned into that familiar and longing face. As expected, it's you, Hayata. Your grandpa Onoki will be very happy if he finds out. Onoki, who have I become? Why do I feel like things are getting more and more complicated? Now that Conan is not around, if Onoki discovers a problem, he may die as many times as he needs Chunin. Uncle Wangtu, actually I came back this time for something. Lu Mu quickly changed the subject. Wangtu was stunned for a moment, and the face of Haidu beside him also turned red. I understand, so going to see your grandpa Onoki is the best choice. Lu Mu roared in his heart. The average IQ per person in the ninja world is 250 points. How can you understand it in just a few words? This makes me look like an idiot. And what on earth do you understand, Kuretsuchi? Your face is so red. In that case, then I will listen to my uncle. So the three of them walked straight towards Tsuchigakure's office. Kuretsuchi, who used to talk a lot along the way, completely turned into a boring gourd. He even tried to escape several times, but was caught back by Lois. Finally Tsuchigakure's office arrived. As the most central place in Iwagakure village, Tsuchigakure's office is full of busy ninjas. Although Onoki is older and has handed over many things, he is still very busy. After half an hour of waiting, Onoki finally solved the matter at hand. Then he jumped off the chair, tapping his lower back, and walked towards the three of them. He crossed the Lois directly and came to the black soil. Why did Xiao Haidu have time to come to see Grandpa? Did he come to ask Grandpa for something? Did he get into trouble again? In Grandpa's eyes, I only get into trouble. The black and rustic cheeks bulged. Just like a goldfish. It's Grandpa's fault. Grandpa apologizes. So what exactly is going on? For a moment, Kuretsuchi's face turned red again. His two eyes kept peeking at Lu Mu. This is... Anamu looked at Lu Mu doubtfully, wondering why Haidu and Wangtu brought a stranger over. Father, he is Hayata. How many times have I told you to call me too? Hayata. Onoki became excited. He quickly grabbed Luemu's hands and kept scanning Luemu's face with his eyes. Suddenly, the unfamiliar face became familiar. The shadow hidden in Onamu's heart suddenly burst out. 2 tears fell from Onoki's eyes. Hayata, that's great, it's really you. Luemu was confused. Who is this Hayata? Chapter 31. Luemu was very panicked. I have no idea who this Hayata is. You must know that Luemu is a man who has mastered Hokage several times. Basically, all the ninjas who have appeared in Hokage Ninja can recognize him. But Luemu had no impression of Hayata at all. Onoki's hands kept shaking, and tears were streaming down his cheeks without even realizing it. His eyes never left Luemu. It'll be good to come back, it'll be good to come back. At this time, Huang Tu coughed twice, and then said seriously, that's why Hayata came back. Onoki was stunned for a moment, then burst out laughing. You guys are so impatient. How old is Kuretsuchi? You just think about it. But don't worry, you kid, your engagement with Kuretsuchi will never be invalidated. That's so, what? Luemu's brain was completely shut down. The way he looks now through his transformation skills is actually his future fiancé. If he really traveled through time and became this Hayata, Luemu would definitely accept it without hesitation. But the key is that he is fake. If it is exposed by then, he will definitely die in a very ugly way. Then Luemu coughed twice. Actually, what I care more about is Kuretsuchi's thoughts. As long as Kuretsuchi has the slightest hesitation or resistance, I will not fulfill this marriage. Luemu smiled secretly in his heart. At Kuretsuchi's current age, he has begun to shed some love, so when he asks this question at once, it is inevitable that he will feel a little hesitant in his heart. Just the right opportunity to go downhill. For a moment, all 3 people present looked at Kuretsuchi, waiting for Kuretsuchi's answer. At this time, Kuretsuchi's eyes became determined, and even the blush on his face disappeared. I was a little hesitant at first, but after hearing what you just said, I am convinced that you are my future. Onoki and Wangtu suddenly beamed. Being able to think about Kuretsuchi means I was right about you from the beginning. I feel relieved to leave Kuretsuchi to you. Yes, I agree. Luemu felt like he had shot himself in the foot. He just wanted to meet Deidara. Why did he suddenly arrange for the rest of his life to happen? But Luemu quickly calmed down. So what if I agreed? It was Hayata, not Luemu, who agreed to settle down with Kuretsuchi. After the task is completed, he will disappear completely. Do you still have to worry about the engagement? Thinking of this, Luemu breathed a sigh of relief, and all the burdens on his body disappeared. Sure enough, being a scumbag has the least psychological burden. Instead of getting so entangled, it's better to go directly to the topic. Grandpa Onoki, can I see Deidara? I heard that he is in solitary confinement. Onoki glanced at Luemu in surprise. Yes, but are you really sure you want to see him? Of course I want to meet you. After all, we are childhood friends. Okay, then go ahead. But be careful. Luemu glanced at Onoki inexplicably. Then immediately forget about it. After all, you can see Deidara soon and complete the mission. Under the leadership of Haidu, Luemu came to a huge house. Deidara will be inside when we get there. Do you really want to go in and see him? Kuretsuchi said seriously. Luemu shrugged his shoulders. The purpose of my visit to the Kingdom of Rock this time is Deidara, how could I not go in? So Luemu walked straight in. The yard is very big, like a maze. If there is no one to lead the way, it is impossible to find the right path. Fortunately, there is black soil leading the way. Otherwise, even if Luemu was given a few hours, he might not be able to find Deidara. Finally Kuretsuchi stopped outside a room. Luemu opened the door without hesitation. I saw a young man with a single ponytail and yellow hair, sitting in front of the table, reading a book seriously. The door suddenly opened, which surprised Deidara. It's not even dinner time yet, why are people here? Deidara said and put down the book. But when he saw Haidu and Luemu, there was a trace of doubt on his face. If you don't cause trouble outside, how can you have time to see me? And who is this? Kuretsuchi put his hands on his hips and looked very dissatisfied. Why did I get into trouble outside, but you study that explosion style all day long? What's the point of that? Deidara's mouth twitched. His face began to twist. There was an aura of terror all over his body. I'll tell you again, explosions are art. After speaking, Deidara took a deep breath to calm himself down. Brother Hayata, look, Deidara has become a completely different person since he joined Explosion Style. Grandpa has been crying for him all day long. Deidara's whole body trembled. The book I just picked up also fell to the ground. A pair of eyes stared at Lu Mu. Hayata, it's really you, you fool. Deidara rushed towards Lu Mu like crazy, almost crazy. Several pieces of clay flew directly towards Lu Mu. The white clay flew towards Lu Mu quickly. Lu Mu naturally knew Deidara's attack method. Each piece of clay thrown out is equivalent to a small grenade. If it is attached to the body, there is no hope of survival. Then Lu Mu quickly evaded. Clay does not fly very fast. For Lu Mu now, it is absolutely easy. Just when Lu Mu was seriously avoiding it, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Lu Mu and grabbed Lu Mu's collar with both hands. You kid has been teasing me since childhood, and today you finally fell into my hands. Deidara said, his face becoming more ferocious. Thinking of what happened with Hayata when I was a child, I suddenly felt so angry. If Hayata hadn't disappeared so early. Otherwise, Deidara would have made Hayata regret coming to this world. Wait a minute Deidara, I'm not Hayata, I'm from another country trying to win you over. Fart, your appearance and tone of voice are exactly the same as that fool. Even if an immortal comes down to earth today, he can't save you. Lu Mu had a helpless expression on his face. Then he quickly cancelled the transformation technique. It's really not Hayata. Deidara's anger dropped a few points. Although the anger dropped, but a murderous aura suddenly ignited in Deidara. Since you are not Hayata, then you are definitely a spy. Deidara said and threw Lu Mu away. He also conveniently placed several white explosive clays on Lu Mu. Explosive clay, each with the power of a grenade. Lu Mu now has several of them on him. If they explode at the same time, the chance of survival is almost zero. The only thing that can save yourself now is lightning style. Although the power of detonating clay is huge, it has a fatal flaw, that is, it is afraid of electricity. As long as the detonating clay suffers an electric shock, it will lose its explosive properties. Become an ordinary piece of dirt. Lu Mu couldn't care so much now and immediately mobilized his chakra. For a moment the whole room darkened. Lu Mu's hands kept flashing with light, and arcs of electricity kept beating on the ground. The room was filled with the calls of countless birds. But at this moment, there was a loud noise outside the house, frightening the entire Yenian village. Everyone stuck their heads out. Suddenly everyone turned pale. A huge black cloud appeared in the sky, covering the entire Yenian village. The height of the black clouds is so low that it even gives people the illusion that you can touch those dark clouds just by raising your hand. Wait until the dark clouds gather to a certain thickness. The dark clouds swirled like a whirlpool. And in the middle of the dark clouds, a huge whirlpool eye was revealed, staring down. Quiet. The entire Yenian village was like a dead city, without making any sound. Boom. Thunder sounded again. The pale thunder light dyed the entire Yenian village white. Thunder is very common, but this is the first time that everyone has seen thunder at such a close range. Over time, the frequency of thunder and lightning is getting higher and higher, and there are even several lightning flashes in a second. At this time, the whole sky lit up. Because the lightning was so close, everyone did not see the arc, but directly saw the white light. Immediately afterwards, a loud noise sounded. The whole land trembled. But at this moment, the white light in the sky shattered like glass, breaking into countless small pieces. The small piece turned into the shape of a bird, flapped its wings and swooped straight down. Suddenly everyone's pupils shrank. Thousands of ordinary birds flying down. Yenian village may not be able to eat them. Not to mention these are lightning birds formed from chakra. Such a large quantity is simply impossible to resist. Ding dong, ding dong. The warning bell rang in Iwagakure village. The sound keeps ringing. At this time, the highest level warning sounded in Iwagakure village. All ninjas in Iwagakure village, whether they are on vacation or injured or sick, must appear immediately. The old, weak, women and children in the village all ran towards the shelter. The ninja represents combat power, while the old, weak, women and children represent the inheritance of incense. In the next second, it is very likely that a war will be launched. And it's a life and death battle. Even the most senior Kage was confused when faced with the ninjutsu in front of him. How many ninjas are there to launch such a huge ninjutsu? Why did such a force come to the village without any trouble? Tsuchikage-sama, everyone is ready to fight at any time. Onoki waved his hand slightly. There was a wry smile on his face. Facing such an enemy, we have no chance of winning. Our goal is to hold back the local army and buy time for our future. As long as they are still alive, Iwagakure village will not be destroyed. Anbu clenched his fists angrily. But looking up at the birds in the sky, the fighting spirit that had just been ignited was extinguished. Under such ninjutsu, any struggle is in vain. Deidara stared blankly at the strange thing outside. My heart suddenly rose to my throat. Although Deidara had the idea of rebelling from the Hidden Rock village. But he is still very concerned about the safety of Iwagakure village. What was most unbelievable to Deidara was that the ninjutsu in front of him was actually performed by this little guy. What on earth do you want to do? Deidara said with a murderous look on his face. Although Deidara knew that his threat was harmless to Lu Mu. Me, don't you think this ninjutsu is so artistic? Deidara was dumbfounded. Are you doing such a big battle just to show your art? Are you kidding me? But indeed, the artistic sense of these billions of birds is truly outstanding. It is even much stronger than his own explosion. Lu Mu waved his hand, and the little bird formed by the convergence of countless thunder lights disappeared immediately. The dark clouds in the sky also disappeared in an instant. The sun baptizes the earth again. The alarm bells are still ringing, but the enemy has not yet appeared, and the ninjutsu in the sky have also disappeared. The ninja of Iwagakure village was stunned as he faced a formidable enemy. Onoki was also dumbfounded. I don't understand what's going on at all. Tsuchikage-sama, shall we continue? As usual, just tell the villagers that this is a drill. It was a joke to the whole village that all the residents took refuge because of the enemy invasion. The enemy has not appeared now. Isn't this a scam? But not without a clue. Before all the flying birds disappeared, all the flying birds converged towards one location. It was where Deidara was imprisoned. No, Hayata is still there. Onoki didn't care about appeasing the others, and immediately used the flying technique to fly straight towards Deidara's position. Deidara stared at Lu Mu with his eyes fixed. I have to admit that the ninjutsu just now was absolutely artistic. Even Deidara wanted to switch to thunder ninjutsu. But this is Iwagakure. That ninjutsu just now was definitely a huge provocation to Iwagakure village. Brother Hayata, what's wrong with you? Haitu's eyes were red, and he gently pulled Lu Mu's sleeves with both hands. It seems that he has not withdrawn from the transformation technique just now. Kuretsuchi, don't you understand? He is not that Hayata, but a ninja from another village. Deidara wanted to protect Kuretsuchi behind him. But the shock that ninjutsu gave Deidara just now was so great that his legs still can't walk normally. No matter who he is, the promise he made to me just now is that he will never change when I am here. Kuretsuchi knew in his heart that Lu Mu was not Hayata. But after the transformation technique was released, the relationship was not completely resolved. It was like being hit by distinguished heavenly gods. Haitu completely changed his view of Lu Mu. Deidara saw the obsessed look on Kuretsuchi's face. The whole person became angry. Why did you come to our village? For your sake, I hope you can join our Akatsuki organization. Lu Mu said. Join the Akatsuki organization. Deidara was immediately furious. If you want to invite, then invite well. What the hell are you going to do with a big move when you come up? Don't you know my legs are still weak? But I have to say that Deidara was a little moved. Explosion style is taboo in Iwagakure village. As long as you stay in Iwagakure village for one day, you won't have the opportunity to study explosion style and explore art. And the one who moved Deidara's heart the most was Lu Mu. Lu Mu's move just now was really artistic. If you follow Lu Mu, you will definitely become the most artistic ninja in the ninja world. Wait, you're not allowed to go. Onoki ran out panting. Seeing Lu Mu's appearance, he suddenly became furious. Hayata, I didn't expect you to join the Akatsuki organization. Lu Mu looked confused. He has obviously released the transformation technique, so why does Onoki still call him Hayata? It was Hayata who really looked exactly like me. Onoki was still not wearing his reading glasses, so he couldn't see clearly at all. At this moment, countless pieces of paper flew out and then gathered in front of Lu Mu. A figure gradually formed. It was Konan, who had been missing for a long time. Tsuchikage-sama, don't you think Deidara should abide by his own choice? Onoki frowned. Then he seemed to remember something, and a smile appeared on his face. The Akatsuki organization, right. No wonder it's so familiar. I remember that during the last war, there was a group of people in the country of rain, using the slogan of peace, to recruit people everywhere. What a pity, you were tricked by Danzo in the end. Konan's face darkened for a moment. Yahiko's death has always been a wound on Konan, but now it was opened directly by Onoki. You want to say something? World peace exists in fairy tales. I didn't expect that anyone would believe it. It's really ridiculous. Really. Konan had a cold face, and the pieces of paper on his body kept falling off, spreading all over the sky. And Konan, who has always been gentle and kind, at this time, he was actually full of murderous intent. Then I'll show you the determination of our Akatsuki organization. World peace is the goal of the Akatsuki organization. This is Yahiko's last wish. Konan has always struggled with this. As a result, Onoki was treated as a joke at this time. This immediately angered Konan completely. The pieces of paper flying in the air continued to spread Konan's anger and murderous intent. The divine paper technique. I didn't expect that someone would learn this ninjutsu. The divine paper jutsu is undoubtedly a very troublesome ninjutsu. You can hide your body in pieces of paper flying everywhere. Every piece of paper may hide the caster. Every piece of paper may contain murderous intent. And now thousands of pieces of paper are flying, proving Konan's strength. But this magical paper technique, compared with the previous bird, is simply heaven and earth. I admit that you are quite capable, but in front of me, you are still a bit lacking. I saw Onoki forming seals quickly. As the last seal appeared, Onoki gave a light drink. Earth style, weighted rock jutsu. Suddenly the pieces of paper stopped flying, and then fell straight down. At this time, the piece of paper lost its lightness and became as heavy as a stone. When it fell to the ground, there was a sound of collision between stones. Deidara's expression condensed. Generally, weighted rock techniques must be touched by hand to take effect. But Onoki, without touching a piece of paper at all, actually caused the paper to be affected by the aggravating rock technique. It can be said to be incredible. Heart Chunin couldn't help but applaud Onoki. Lu Mu's Sharingan has been turned on, and he immediately discovered something fishy. When Onoki performed the weighted rock technique, he spread the chakra all over his body. Within the area covered by the chakra, all pieces of paper have increased weight. However, although this method can increase the range of the aggravated rock technique, the aggravating effect is very small, and the burden on Onoki is also very large. All the notes fell to the ground. Konan also lost his cover and appeared directly in front of Onoki. I saw Konan moving the pieces of paper again, and the pieces of paper seemed to be alive, and they quickly gathered towards Konan's back. Suddenly a pair of white wings appeared behind Konan. Flying. Too bad I can do that too. Onoki sneered, and his short body suddenly flew up. And it's faster and more agile than Konan. And because of this huge speed difference, Onoki became like a mosquito in midsummer. You can hear the sound and see his trajectory, but you can't hit him. But he can bite you from time to time. It's simply a messy mentality. But is Onoki a mosquito? Onoki is third Tsuchikage. Although he is old, one punch is enough to break a boulder under the weighted rock technique. Not to mention Konan's smaller frame. At this time, Onoki grabbed Konan's gap and quickly came behind Konan. The huge rock fist, supported by the weighted rock technique, hit Konan hard on the lower back. Konan fell straight down like a smashed badminton. A huge hole was made in the ground. The dust and fog receded, and Konan was seen climbing out of the huge pit with difficulty. Fortunately, I used pieces of paper to block most of the damage. Otherwise, with that punch, the organs in the body may be shattered. I'm afraid I won't be able to hold it up before I even hit the ground. But even so, several bones in Konan's body were broken. It is no longer realistic to want to fight. Konan stared blankly at Onoki's descent, with a trace of unwillingness on his face. Is this movie level? There is such a big gap between him and the shadow level. He didn't even have the ability to fight back. Little girl, you are indeed very strong, but you are still too immature in front of me. Onoki smiled proudly. The divine paper technique is very difficult to deal with. When ordinary ninjas encounter the divine paper technique, they don't even know how to fight back. But Onoki has lived for so long, what ninjutsu hasn't seen? Onoki clearly knows all the strengths and weaknesses of ninjutsu. Moreover, Conan's combat experience is too weak. If Conan is given a few more years to hone, he will definitely become a terrifying opponent. Okay, I should send you on your way, Onoki said, clapped his hands hard, and then pushed in the direction of Conan. Suddenly Conan felt like he was trapped in a cube. The body is surrounded by dense flying dust. Dust style, the art of peeling off the original world. Conan's pupils shrank sharply, and an unprecedented sense of crisis swept through his body. There is a kind of restlessness in my heart. Let yourself run out quickly. But Conan, who was seriously injured, found it very difficult to walk, let alone run. For a moment Conan closed his eyes in despair, waiting for death to come. At this moment, Conan suddenly felt that he was tied up with silk threads, and then he was pulled hard. Conan slowly opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was Lu Emu's handsome face. Are you okay? Well, it's okay, it's just that the silk thread is a little tight. Hearing Conan's complaint, Lu Mu reacted. The silk thread on Conan's body is really too inappropriate. But it is these threads that vividly outline Conan's beautiful figure. But now that Conan spoke, Lu Mu could no longer pretend not to know, and immediately untied him. See the actions of Lu Mu and Conan. Kuretsuchi looked at his figure and felt a sense of frustration in his heart. I secretly decided that milk, which I usually dislike the most, would never be eaten less in the future. And two more. Onoki's face turned dark. He kept blowing his beard angrily. Hayata, I really misjudged you. You can take Deidara away today if you want, but you must defeat me, Onoki said, quickly forming seals with his hands. Then he pressed his hands hard on the ground. Earth style, Iwasu collapse. Suddenly the ground began to crack. The originally flat ground broke into countless pieces. The ground under Lu Emu's feet also shattered, and then continued to fall. Lu Emu's heart trembled. Uchiha Obito was hit by this trick back then, causing half of his face to be crushed and completely disfigured. Lu Mu doesn't want to repeat Uchiha Obito's old path. He stepped on several rocks and jumped up. But before Lu Mu could take a breath, he suddenly found Onoki in front of him. Moreover, his right hand was wrapped in a rock fist and raised high. Fortunately, Lu Emu's Sharingan was always open. Although Onoki's movements were very fast, the trajectory could still be seen in the Sharingan. Then Lu Mu quickly retreated and distanced himself from Onoki. Sharingan, how come you kid has a Sharingan? Are you a spy of Konoha from the beginning? Onoki said, his face looking even more angry. I feel like all my feelings for so many years have been deceived. Watching Onoki's attacks become more and more sharp, Lu Mu knew that blindly escaping was not the answer, he had to face the enemy head-on. Then Lu Mu kept making seals with his hands. The seal of the earthly river. Cast earth style in front of me. Onoki smiled disdainfully. Although ninjas from other countries can also use the earth style I have used for my whole life is like being engraved in my bones. Before the seal is finished, you can know what ninjutsu is. Although the earthly river is powerful, it has a fatal flaw. That is an enemy that can only attack the ground. As long as it leaves the ground, the earth flow river is completely a decoration, and it can even be said to be a waste of chakra. So Onoki slowly flew up. But just as Onoki flew up a little, he suddenly felt that his feet seemed to be pulled by something. So Onoki lowered his head subconsciously. It didn't matter if he didn't lower his head. As soon as Onoki lowered his head, he was immediately broken into a cold sweat. I saw that the soles of my feet had completely turned into an endless swamp. As long as you are trapped, the chance of escaping without help is almost zero. But at this time, the swamp under the feet changed. The originally flat swamp has now turned into a purgatory on earth. One arm after another emerged from the earth and directly grabbed Onoki's ankle. Then he tried his best to drag Onomu down and sink into this endless swamp. For a moment Onoki's back was soaked with sweat. I never expected that I would be tricked by a junior using earth style. If this spreads out, others will laugh to death. I am very old, and I ended up losing my health at a late age. More and more hands stretched out from the swamp, and Onoki felt that his body had reached its limit. If we continue, we may fall into a swamp completely. Just when Onoki was in complete despair, he suddenly discovered that Lu Mu was untying Conan's thin threads one by one. You are a thin string. The more you struggle, the tighter it becomes. Look at how tight it is. I was suddenly tied up. How could I not struggle? If I knew it was the owner's rope, I would never struggle. Conan pursed his lips and smiled. Suddenly Lu Mu felt goosebumps all over his body. Quickly distance yourself from Conan. Onoki trembled all over and suddenly became excited. Is it possible? Onoki swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and then tried to reduce the power of flying. The imagined moment of being pulled down into the swamp did not happen. But just like before, the two forces were equal and maintained a balance. Onoki smiled. It turned out that the force of the hand summoned by the swamp was consistent with the force exerted by himself. The greater the force exerted, the greater the force pulling down. If you ignore him, the downward force will be almost negligible. Then Onoki gradually reduced his power. The downward force is getting smaller and smaller. Does this kid have something to hide? The more Onoki thought about it, the more it made sense. If there is no other secret, why should I remind myself? If you continue, your arm will definitely be consumed to death. What are you worried about? Onoki showed deep doubts. Then he quickly used ninjutsu and broke all the arms wrapped around his feet. Hayata, I must wake you up today so that you can see how powerful Iwagakure village is and you don't have to be afraid of the enemy behind you. Onoki thought and clapped his hands hard. Then several large wild trees made of stone appeared around him. Earth style, earth clone technique. Ding dong. Defeat Onoki. Reward. 10% awakening, quick seal formation. It's another mission. Lu Mu originally thought that no mission would appear, but he did not expect that the mission would appear at this time. And the mission rewards are also very awesome. Not only can it increase arousal, but it can also quickly form seals. What are the ninjas competing for? The competition is speed. No matter how much chakra you have and how many ninjutsu you have, if the sealing speed is slow, you won't even be able to use ninjutsu. You must know that when Uchiha Itachi fought against Hatake Kakashi, he hit 6 seals per second, and Hatake Kakashi had no reaction speed at all. As you can imagine, the speed of sealing is crucial. In this case, the mission must be completed this time. Although I really don't want to be your enemy, I must defeat you today. Conan's eyes lit up. Although Onoki is not the strongest being among the 5 shadows, he is definitely the most difficult one to deal with. With decades of combat experience, he has seen every combat situation. In terms of combat experience, even the 3rd Hokage of Konoha village is not as good as him. Lu Mu took action against Onoki this time. It is definitely for the purpose of intimidation and to pave the way for the establishment of the 6th largest country. Conan felt a little ashamed for a moment. He thinks about taking advantage all day long, while Lu Mu thinks about the Akatsuki organization all day long. Make a judgment. Onoki also showed a hint of joy on his face. Knew it. Hayata really doesn't want to do anything to himself. Sure enough, someone was forcing him behind his back. In this case, he must wake up Hayata and let him know that Iwagakure village will always be his strong backing. In an instant, several earth clones of Onoki rushed towards Lu Mu quickly. Onoki is very confident. It only takes a few breaths to completely subdue Lu Mu. At this time, Lu Mu quickly formed seals with his hands. Earth style, Earth Dragon Bullet Technique. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. There was no movement. Onoki smiled. There is no need to make it so obvious when releasing water. And even if it is the Earth Dragon Bullet Technique, I have full confidence in cracking it. Onoki thought about it and was about to continue taking action. Suddenly the whole earth trembled. Then after a few seconds, the ground trembled again. The earth trembles with increasing frequency. And the trembling is getting bigger and bigger. It was like something huge was approaching from the ground. And a sense of crisis hit Onoki. Onoki's ability to survive several ninja battles was partly due to his strength, but the main reason was his ability to predict danger. This ability of perception allowed Onoki to escape from desperate situations time and time again, and even fight back. This time, the sense of crisis is unprecedentedly strong. Even when first Hokage stood in front of him, he had never felt such a terrifying sense of crisis. Onoki didn't care about anything else. He immediately controlled himself and flew up. Not long after leaving the ground, a huge dragon head emerged from the ground. The huge mouth, like a gate to hell, bit directly towards Onoki. Why is it so big? Onoki was startled and broke into a cold sweat. The body of an ordinary earth dragon bomb is only 1 to 2 meters thick, and its mouth can barely open to bite people. And the earth dragon bomb in front of me. It has exceeded Onoki's imagination. Just 2 floating beards are more than half a meter thick. Each tooth is larger than a human being. If the mouth is completely opened, it can easily swallow a building, let alone a human being. The most crucial point. This earth dragon bomb has limbs and piercing eyes, and it doesn't look like a ninjutsu being performed at all. But real life. But Onoki didn't have time to think so much now, because the huge mouth was just a few meters below Onoki's body. If you don't want to be swallowed in one bite, you have to risk your life. For a time, Onoki's speed surged. The distance between him and Tulong Dan gradually widened. But at this moment, the earth dragon's mouth opened, followed by an earth-shattering roar. It seemed as if the whole world was trembling with this dragon cry. Onoki, who was closest to Tulong, was so dizzy from the shock that he couldn't even tell the difference between east, west, north, up, down, left, and right. Onoki only knew that he was flying desperately in one direction. After about 30 seconds, Onoki slowly recovered his 5 senses. But the moment I opened my eyes, Onoki suddenly felt cold from head to toe. I saw that the earth dragon did not pursue blindly, but opened its mouth wide, and then gathered the surrounding chakra in front of it, gradually turning into dark red. The earth dragon bullet summoned by ninjutsu can also use ninjutsu. And this move is not a tailed beast jade exclusive to tailed beasts. Tailed beast jade is a super powerful ninjutsu move that is performed by all the tailed beasts by gathering chakra throughout their body. This is a powerful symbol unique to tailed beasts. But the earth dragon in front of him is not even a psychic beast. It can only be said to be an ordinary ninjutsu. But even so, he used the tailed beast jade that only tailed beasts can possess. I can't hide anymore. Onoki closed his eyes unwillingly. I didn't expect that I, who had not been killed in several ninja battles, would be defeated by a young boy. The next second Taijudama vented his anger. A beam of light soared into the sky, directly piercing the sky. Even the sun seemed eclipsed in front of this beam of light. Kuretsuchi looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Onoki is dead. Third Tsuchikage 2 days flat. Onoki died. My own grandfather is dead. For a moment, Kuretsuchi's eyes became moist unconsciously. His body was shaking with sobs. You actually killed the old man. Deidara was angry, although Onoki locked himself up. But Deidara didn't hate Onoki at all. At this time, seeing Onoki disappear under the beam of light, the emotions that were suppressed in his heart were instantly aroused. Angry and puzzled. I have no idea why Lu Mu would kill Onamu, but he had the strength to kill Onamu. But Deidara doesn't care about that much now. Countless pieces of detonated clay instantly turned into countless spiders, quickly crawling towards Lu Mu. At this time Lu Mu was also dumbfounded. Third Tsuchikage is dead. Was he instantly killed by his own superficial ninjutsu? But Lu Mu didn't have much time to think, as dense white spiders had already crawled in front of him. Then he quickly used the teleportation technique. I saw Lu Mu lift his right foot, and the scenery in the distance quickly zoomed in, as if it was compressed together. Then Lu Mu kicked down. The scenery instantly returned to its original appearance, and Lu Mu was already several hundred meters away. So close to the end of the world. Deidara looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. It can be said that this has transcended the existence of ninjutsu. I have only seen such moves in books written by aliens. Could it be that Lu Mu is not a ninja in the ninja world, but an invader from outside? Or is Lu Mu a god? No wonder Lu Mu can use the previous billion birds. That is definitely a move that surpasses humans. Thinking of this, Deidara did not feel fear, but became excited. Being able to fight such an opponent makes it worth it even if you lose, and the ninjutsu that breaks out during the battle is absolutely artistic. Deidara then put his hand into his ninja bag. The mouth in the palm of the hand kept eating all the explosive clay in the ninja bag. Try to see if you can take this move. Deidara smiled crazily. With a wave of one hand, a white creature crawled out of Deidara's hand. First came the head, then the body, and finally the tail came out. It turned out to be a large white bird made from exploding clay. Deidara quickly jumped up and kept hovering in the air. When Deidara flew directly above Lu Mu, little spiders kept falling from the sky. Each little white spider is made of explosive clay, and each little spider is equal to an explosive charm. Hundreds of little white spiders fell down at the same time. If there is an explosion, not to mention this house, I am afraid that a large number of surrounding houses will be implicated. If Lu Mu is the case, then don't even think about running away. Lu Mu snorted coldly, then quickly formed seals with his hands. Gather the chakra in your lungs, and then spit it out towards the opponent. When it came out of the mouth, there was still a breeze. But when they all came out, the speed of the wind suddenly increased. Wind escape. Great breakthrough. A strong wind blew away all the little spiders around him. But the great breakthrough did not stop because of this, but rolled towards Deidara. Hayata, you know a lot, but it's a pity that just a C-level great breakthrough wants to break my ninjutsu. Deidara sneered. The spider that had been blown away just now fell to the ground and crawled quickly towards Lu Mu on its legs. It was densely packed in all directions. There is no room for hiding at all. But at this moment, Deidara couldn't laugh anymore. I saw the strong wind that was not threatening just now, but now it was suddenly filled with a sense of crisis. It seems that every gust of wind has turned into a small knife, which can cut off a piece of flesh on the body with just a light touch. This is no longer an ordinary wind. It was completely beyond Deidara's knowledge. It seems like it shouldn't be in this world at all. At this moment, a black shadow rushed out, passed directly through the field of strong wind, and then directly hit Deidara, wrapping Deidara and falling down. Deidara, you are so reckless. Deidara heard a familiar voice and opened his eyes to see Onoki, who had just disappeared into the tailed beast Jade. Old man, why are you okay? You really hope something happens to me. I won't say that this matter is very complicated. The primary goal now is to defeat Hayata. Through the tailed beast Jade just now, Onoki was even more sure. There must be something threatening Lu Mu behind him. If you want to rescue Lu Mu, the first thing you have to do is to show your strength and defeat Lu Mu completely. Let Lu Mu be willing to believe in the strength of the Kingdom of Earth. Able to compete with the strength behind it. Deidara, stand down. This battle is between me and Hayata. Onoki put aside his small cloak handsomely, and then took a few steps in Lu Mu's direction. Fight Hayata, show your true strength. Lu Mu stumbled and almost fell. How long has passed and you are still calling me Hayata? Are all the ninjas of the Earth Kingdom this arrogant? But this is exactly what Lu Mu meant. After all, the system rewards are there, and you have to fight for them. Thinking of Lu Mu, he started to form seals with his hands. Water style. Who will build the dam? Big Bang Water Shockwave is one of the few A-level ninjutsu that Lu Mu knows. Even without special effects, it is very powerful. In order to defeat Onoki, Lu Mu must also show his ability to press the bottom of the box. As the last seal lights up, the chakra in Lu Mu's body drained rapidly. With Lu Mu's current amount of chakra, using water style, Big Explosion Water Shockwave consumes a lot of money. For the first time, Lu Mu consumed a lot of chakra and looked tired. When Conan saw this scene, Jonin couldn't help showing a surprised expression on his face. When he used the Great Fireball, Lu Mu didn't show any signs of fatigue. But at this moment, Lu Mu was tired. How powerful must ninjutsu be, which can make a sage feel exhausted? I'm afraid it would be more than enough to destroy Iwagakure village. At this moment, Conan felt that the sunlight was blocked, and a sound like thousands of horses galloping came from behind. The ground also followed the sound and kept shaking. Conan looked back subconsciously. When he saw the scene in front of him, although he was prepared, he was still frightened. I saw a wave hundreds of meters high slowly pushing over, completely blocking half of the sky. Be aware that water style is different from other ninjutsu. Generally, when you perform water style, you drain the surrounding water vapor and gather it together to attack the enemy. But the Kingdom of Earth is far away from the coastline and is all a land of hills. But it was this kind of landform that actually summoned such a huge tsunami. Cast tsunami inland. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it even if I killed Conan. But Lu Mu did it. In this world, I am afraid only Lu Mu can do it. Onoki was using ninjutsu, but when he saw the tsunami in front of him, he was stunned. Is this a ninjutsu that a mortal can perform? Such a huge tsunami may completely turn Iwagakure into Atlantis and sink it into the ocean forever. Want to block? How can it be? The ninjutsu in front of him has completely transcended mortals, just like a divine punishment. The purpose is to exterminate a species. Onoki stopped. Even if he uses up all his chakra, it will only be a drop in the bucket in the face of such a tsunami. Any means are futile and ridiculous. The most important thing to do now is to say a final farewell to your loved ones. Let your life not leave any regrets. At this moment, Onoki realized how strong Lu Mu really was. I'm afraid that the bird made of thunder and lightning was also Lu Mu's handiwork. At this time, Lu Mu may have surpassed the limits of mortals and reached the realm of immortals. So how powerful is the being who can control Lu Mu? Beings who can control immortals or at least immortals, and may even surpass immortals. Such an existence has surpassed human cognition. Afraid that as long as he is willing, the entire ninja world will be destroyed. What kind of person am I fighting, and I even think about defeating him? Onoki was completely desperate and completely gave up the desire to win. But Onoki is the Tsuchigakure of Iwagakure. When facing such a tsunami, we must stand up and protect the safety of the villagers no matter what method we use. And the only thing I can do now is to beg. If Onoki was alone, even if he died, he would never frown. But behind him, there are countless villagers and his descendants. Whether as Tsuchikage, father or grandfather, Onoki must stop the tsunami from coming. That's enough, Hayata. Take whatever you want, please let go of Iwagakure and Earth Country. Onoki said and lowered his head unwillingly. This was the first time Onoki felt so aggrieved since doing Tsuchikage. Ding dong. Mission accomplished. Congratulations to host for defeating Onoki. Acquired 10% arousal level, now the arousal level is 32%, obtained quick seal. Lu Mu felt happy. After all, it was still fooled. Next, you only need to wait for the big explosion water shockwave to end, and the special effects will disappear. It just takes some time to wait. The villagers of Yenian village breathed a sigh of relief after experiencing the last bell. Although it is one of the 5 major countries, necessary exercises are still needed. After all, being prepared for danger in times of peace shows that the top management of Yenian village has always been vigilant. Why should Iwagakure like this not be strong? It made me laugh so hard. I thought the end was coming and I had already prepared my will. The Akita next door peed his pants. Actually, I felt something was wrong from the beginning. That kind of ninjutsu cannot be performed by humans at all. It is definitely genjutsu. Yes, just like it is absolutely impossible for a tsunami to occur in our land of Earth. Tsunami, is that what you're talking about? The villagers of Yenian village looked into the distance. In the distance, it looked like a wall 100 meters high had been erected, and this wall was constantly pushing towards Iwagakure village. Brother, please speak. Brother, is this a tsunami? Should we run away? For a moment, the bell of Yenian village rang again. This time the bell sounded even more urgent and louder than last time. But no one in Yenian village chose to escape. After all, such a huge tsunami is coming. There was no chance of escape, there was nowhere to escape. Not as good as a neat family. The bells stopped ringing. It wasn't that the tsunami had stopped, but that the ninja who was ringing the bell had also left. Although the number of thunderbirds before was huge. But as long as you hide, there is a possibility of survival. But the tsunami lies ahead. Hide, how to hide? No matter you are hiding in a house or in a secret spot, you will be filled with seawater without exception. Moreover, as a landlocked country, the land of Earth is the country with the highest terrain. I have no experience facing tsunamis at all. I never thought that my country would face a tsunami. And it was a tsunami of such height. There is no hope, give up. For a while, Iwagakure village became quiet. Everyone returned home one after another to stay with their relatives. The drunkard who was addicted to alcohol took out the fine wine that he had treasured all his life and blew on the bottle. The men and women who did not confess because they were shy must muster up the courage to confess affectionately to the person they like. Those who were good at handicrafts ran to the roof to show off their skills to everyone. After all, it will be submerged soon. Even if you do something crazy, no one will remember it, and no one will know it. Onoki looked solemnly at the tsunami in front of him. No matter how much he begged for mercy, the tsunami showed no sign of receding. Onoki became anxious for a moment. "I'll do it, old man." Deidara stopped Onoki and then walked forward. Deidara knew very well the purpose of Luemu's visit this time. Just to woo myself into the Akatsuki organization. Whether it is the billions of Thunderbirds before or the tsunami-like galloping horses now, they all prove Luemu's strong artistic sense. Deidara was convinced. He admitted in his heart that Luemu's ninjutsu was more artistic than his own explosive technique. Be able to join such an organization. It was also what Deidara longed for. "Stop, Hayata, I am willing to join the Akatsuki organization," Deidara said and waited quietly. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Luemu didn't react at all, but the speed of the tsunami increased a lot. "Hey, didn't you come to Iwagakure just to win over me? Now that I am willing to join the Akatsuki organization, this tsunami can be withdrawn." Deidara's face turned red and he shouted anxiously. Luemu still didn't respond. Although Deidara was not dead at this time, his heart was already dead. "What a shame." Onoki patted Deidara's shoulder gently, then shook his head. "I understand, it's not that Hayata doesn't want to stop, but that he can't stop." Deidara was stunned for a moment and understood instantly. Some ninjutsu can be forcibly withdrawn, such as the previous Thunderbird. As long as Thunderbird's chakra support is cut off, the power of Thunderbolt will be consumed immediately. And some ninjutsu are impossible to take back. For example, the tsunami in front of us. The tsunami has been fully formed, and the monstrous seawater has become a real thing. Even if the chakra is broken, the tsunami will still keep pushing forward. In other words, the destruction of Yenian village has become a foregone conclusion. Yeah, Hayata can't stop either. Deidara shook his head feebly as he spoke, and then sat down, enjoying the last moments of his life. At this time Deidara saw the black soil not far away and couldn't help but laugh. "Kuretsuchi, I just said that no one will like you, a tomboy, and you are destined to be single for the rest of your life. I'm right." Kuretsuchi, who was at a loss what to do, became furious when he heard Deidara's words and stamped his feet in anger. "No, brother Hayata must like me. Just wait, the tsunami will definitely recede, and then brother Hayata will take me away." Deidara smiled sarcastically. "Stop daydreaming. Even if the gods come to the world, they can't stop this. I wonder if the tsunami has retreated." For a moment, Onoki, Deidara, and Konan all looked at Kuretsuchi. An awkward smile appeared on Luemu's face. At this time when the special effects are over, it is very easy to cause misunderstandings. Did the tsunami disappear? The people of Iwagakure were confused. Could it be that today was a dream? First, the Thunderbirds arrived, and now the tsunami disappeared. Could it be another drill? For a while, the villagers who stayed at home looked at each other and smiled. The one who confessed to his crush also embraced each other at this time, and ran to the roof to perform crafts. At this time, his face turned pale and he climbed down step by step. Some people are alive, but they are already dead. But no matter what, I finally survived. As long as you are alive, there is hope for everything. At this time, Deidara, Onoki, and Konan looked at Kuretsuchi. Kuretsuchi also seemed a bit at a loss. Before, he was just unconvinced by Deidara's ridicule, but he knew very well that there was no way the tsunami could stop. But it happened to stop. For a moment, Haitu's heart was beating rapidly. His eyes did not dare to look at Luemu, and he only dared to glance at him secretly. An unprecedented feeling of happiness filled my heart. Onoki came to his senses. Then he stroked his beard and laughed. "It's great to be young." Deidara's mouth kept twitching. "Didn't you say that you came to Iwagakure village this time because of me? Your feelings are obviously for me, but secretly they are for Kuretsuchi." "Bah, what a scumbag." Konan frowned and looked at Kuretsuchi. "Konan is cleared. How could Luemu's gentle character flood Yenian village with water? It's just that I have been waiting for Onoki's compromise. Hope to get more benefits." Conan has been waiting to see what Lu Mu needs. Now I finally understand. What Lu Mu wants is black soil. For a moment, Kuretsuchi's eyes kept comparing Kuretsuchi and himself, trying to find out where he lost. Why would I lose to a 9-year-old girl? I see. When Conan saw Kuretsuchi's legs, he suddenly understood. Although Kuretsuchi is still small, even he is jealous of the length of those legs. Some things can continue to develop, but some things can never change. I lost. But would Lu Mu be so superficial? Will you be addicted to pink skulls? Conan shook his head. With Lu Mu's noble character, he would never be so superficial. At this moment, Conan felt an idea flash in his mind. Is it for control? Conan rubbed his chin, and the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. In addition to having long legs and being beautiful, Kuretsuchi also has a special identity. That is the granddaughter of 3rd Tsuchikage. Although the 6th largest country is theoretically feasible, it is actually very difficult. Even if all the small countries are united, they will still encounter a very serious problem. That is, the country is too narrow and long. If the 5 major countries need sanctions, they can easily separate the small countries. Then all previous efforts will be in vain. But if they marry Black Earth, then the 6th largest country and the Earth country can be completely bound together. Even if other countries take action, the Earth Kingdom will most likely not help. But it can move through the land of the Earth Kingdom. Then the partition war will completely collapse. Thinking of this, Conan couldn't help but give Lu Mu a thumbs up. The admiration in my heart became stronger and stronger. Every step I take is thinking about the future and the ninja world. In terms of character, he can definitely be called a saint. But for the sake of the country and the ninja continent, he stayed with a woman he didn't like. Conan's heart suddenly tightened. I must definitely make it up to Lu Mu. If you don't do something yourself, what a depressing thing it would be. Lu Mu, I will protect your happiness. Lu Mu suddenly felt a cold wind coming and shivered all over. I always feel like I'm being watched, but I don't know who it is. But all in all, the task is completed. Finally, Deidara was fooled. The mission is accomplished. Conan, let's go. Conan nodded slightly and then walked to Deidara. Can you still fly? If you can fly, follow me. Deidara was stunned for a moment, then nodded. My heart became excited. Fortunately, you didn't forget me. A huge white bird landed next to Deidara. Certainly. Well, you take the master and follow me. Conan nodded with satisfaction and then walked to Kuretsuchi's side. Without even saying a word, he hugged her with both hands and flapped his 2 white wings. Kuretsuchi suddenly became anxious. Although I like Lu Mu, I have no intention of leaving the kingdom of Earth for the time being. Grandpa, please save me. Kuretsuchi asked Onoki for help, but found that Onoki was looking at him with a smile. No intention of taking action at all. Am I being sold? The corners of Lu Mu's mouth twitched at this time. Isn't Deidara the target this time? Why are you bringing Kuretsuchi? And why are you laughing, Onoki? Your granddaughter has been kidnapped and is still begging you for help. Kuretsuchi, are you sure you are Onoki's granddaughter? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.